chosen one. You didn't stumble across this message, you were summoned. This moment, it's not a coincidence, it's confirmation. You've been sensing a shift, feeling the tension, praying for a sign, and now heaven is answering loud and clear. You are chosen, and your time is now. This isn't just another message. This is a divine appointment tailored for your spirit. Everything you've walked through, everything you've overcome, everything you've held together when it would have been easier to fall apart. It's all been leading here. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being activated. Take a deep breath. Feel that? That's alignment. That's breakthrough on the edge of becoming. You're about to step into a new dimension of clarity, strength, and purpose, and it starts the moment you say yes to what your spirit already knows. This is for you. Let's go. You weren't called to be flawless. You were chosen to be faithful. And right now, something bigger than you is stirring. Not because you earned it through perfection, but because you positioned yourself with willingness. This next shift in your life won't be built on your performance. It will unfold through your alignment. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. There's a reason this message finds you now. You are standing at the edge of something sacred, looking for purpose and peace. Hit subscribe and start the journey. Stay close. Don't rush past this. Keep your attention right here, because the next few moments carry clarity you didn't know you needed. This is the invitation. This is the turning point. This is where noise falls away and truth rises. Before you move forward, make this moment intentional. Declare agreement through action. Respond, affirm, and open the space for divine movement. There's no magic in ritual. There's power in intention. If you're still here, that means something inside you already said yes. Not to perfection, but to alignment, to truth, to transformation. Now breathe deep. Exhale the fear. Welcome the shift. You didn't come here by chance. You came because you're ready to stop surviving and start embodying what's already been placed within you. Let's go where most never look, beneath the surface of struggle and deeper into design. There is a command sounding in the unseen, and it's calling you to your own foundation. What activates next doesn't start in your thoughts. It starts in your core. There is an ancient signal pulsing through your inner structure, the original blueprint of divine potential waiting to be awakened. Step beyond the screen. Join and help light the way for others. This isn't poetic, it's precise. Your inner center, often ignored, misunderstood, or suppressed, holds the codes for manifestation. When life feels blocked, stagnant, or misaligned, it's because this inner command center hasn't been activated. Now it calls for your attention. This is the moment where distractions fall away. This is where clarity overrides confusion. When you become still and bring awareness to that inner origin, you begin to shift dimensions, not symbolically, but energetically. You're not here to guess. You're here to listen. The instruction is clear. Respond here, not later. Spirit doesn't operate on delay. It aligns with decision. And right now, a decision must be made to activate or to postpone, to open or to resist. The spiritual architecture is already prepared, but your participation is the key that unlocks it. The reason you've been pushed to ignore this center of power is because it's the most vital part of your design. When disconnected from it, your authority weakens. That is not accidental. That is targeted warfare. But once you reconnect to that inner command, you stop reacting to life. You start commanding it. This isn't fantasy. This is a call to sacred embodiment. You are the gate. You are the frequency. You are the interface between what exists and what's about to arrive. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Every time you delay your alignment, you delay the assignment meant for you. What's been divinely orchestrated awaits no longer. It waits for your permission to land. And it won't come through struggle. It will come through surrender. Not to systems, not to fear, but to the exact design planted in you from the beginning. Now is the moment. The gates are listening. The flow is real. Step in, not later. Now. There are moments in life when heaven doesn't just knock, it waits. Not for your perfection, not for your credentials, but for your alignment. And this is one of those moments. A sacred transfer hovers just outside of sight. Restoration, elevation, clarity, and provision. All ready, all real, all encoded. But to receive what's already prepared, your posture must match the promise. Not in theory, in embodiment. It isn't your intellect or talent that opens this gate. It's your willingness to respond to the unseen with radical trust. The access point isn't where you've been trained to focus. It's deeper, older, wired into your design long before you knew what it carried. Where your foundation rests, so does the entry. The instruction is clear. Engage from the root, not the surface. You're not asked to understand, you're asked to obey. This isn't superstition, it's precision. Every movement carries meaning. You're syncing with a divine pattern that overrides logic. And when you move according to that pattern, change doesn't trickle, it rushes. What may seem unusual to the eye is simply unfamiliar to the ego. But spirit recognizes it immediately. This isn't about performing a strange act. It's about responding to the voice that calls you out of delay and into divine function. The most powerful transformations never come with applause. They come in quiet, decisive obedience, especially when the act looks foolish to those who don't hear what you hear. Let them doubt. You're not moving for them. You're moving for what's written. You're not here to impress. You're here to unlock. This act is not just symbolic, it's structural. The foundation of your being holds more than blood and bone. It houses encoded direction, purpose, and spiritual intelligence. And when neglected, that power sits dormant, causing delays, confusion, fatigue. But when activated through faith and precise action, it awakens movement you didn't know was missing. It's not just about posture, it's about permission. You give heaven the green light through your yes, through the motion that says, I'm ready. Not mentally, not emotionally, but physically. And when your body joins your belief, momentum is released. This is why many feel stuck, because they pray from the neck up, but their root remains sealed. They visualize, affirm, and hope, but the structure remains inactive. Spirit doesn't just want your words, it wants your form in agreement. Step beyond the screen, join, and help light the way for others. The blueprint for your breakthrough isn't written in the air. It's written in how you respond when no one's watching. Heaven doesn't need your perfection. It needs your participation. And right now, participation looks like a choice to move, even when it makes no earthly sense. That's the kind of obedience that shifts timelines. That's the kind of surrender that unlocks what's already yours. You carry more than memory in your bones. You carry instruction. This moment isn't ordinary. It's encoded. Every hardship, every pause, every time you felt like the door wouldn't open, it was leading you here. You are now standing at the threshold of divine movement, where presence meets direction, where inner knowing meets external shift. What you're being asked to do is not for tradition or trend, it's for transformation. This isn't performance, it's participation. You are being led to act with intention, to align not just in mind, but in structure. You're not waiting on a miracle. You're meeting it halfway. The guidance is direct. Use a clean, blank piece of paper, not because the page is magic, but because it mirrors your spirit. Open, willing, and cleared of clutter. What you write becomes more than words. It becomes a signal. This is sacred design. Don't rush it. Don't treat it like routine. Treat it like access, because that's what it is. Let honesty pour from your chest to your hand. Write what you rarely say aloud, what aches, what burns, what you haven't had the words for until now. This is where you place your truth on the altar. No filters, no editing. Be real, be raw, be reverent. Let your deepest longings spill onto the page. Unmet hopes, healing that feels overdue, relationships you're unsure how to navigate, the kind of peace you can't fake. Every syllable matters. You're not just writing, you're transmitting. And when you're done, inscribe the frequency that carries this moment forward. 55-55. Not a number for luck, a code for divine progression. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Fold the page as though you are wrapping sacred ground. Treat it as something holy, because it is. When you place it beneath your center, you're not hiding it. You're anchoring it. Let your body feel the message. Sleep with it. Sit in silence with it. Let it rest where your roots live. You're not just sending a request. You're unlocking what's been waiting for your yes. Too many are taught that the sacred lives far away, in rituals, temples, or other people's hands. But your own form was crafted for communication. Your body is not the barrier, it's the bridge. And now it's being used to open what the mind can't reach on its own. Those sensations you ignore, tightness, restlessness, fatigue, they're not random symptoms, they're messages. Your foundation has been speaking, waiting for you to answer. What rests near your lower core is not just anatomy, it's origin. Power sleeps there. Creativity nests there. Identity is shaped there. And when you place your words at the base of that center, you're not just making a gesture, you're pulling the divine into form. The shift isn't coming. It has already begun. You are not here to blend in. You are built to initiate something divine. What you're feeling right now is not confusion. It's a spiritual alert, a pull, a knowing, a signal that your next breakthrough won't come through logic, but through obedience that makes no earthly sense. This is not a test, it's an activation. The instruction may feel strange, but it's encoded with purpose. Your body is not the background, it is the bridge. And this act is not symbolic, it is structural, it is sacred. It is a recalibration of heaven through your human form. This isn't a performance, this is a shift. One decision, one action, one moment of trust in what cannot be explained opens an entirely different current. You've been prepared for this long, before you understood it. The place you walk with every day, the foundation of your being, it holds the entryway for transformation, renewal, and divine data transmission. And now, that space is being called forward to participate in your next chapter. The base of your structure is not just support, it's signal, an internal threshold meant to be activated by the willing, not the curious. When your core is blocked, instability rises. When opened through intention and surrender, what flows in is not just peace, it is provision, clarity, and rootedness. The kind of peace that builds instead of bends. The kind of power that grounds rather than shakes. That's why this act isn't just instruction, it's correction. It realigns what's been off. It reroutes what's been delayed. And it doesn't require drama, it requires precision. Not a guess, a knowing. The number is not a trend. It is a message in numeric form, a timestamp from the unseen. When you see it, it's not coincidence, it's confirmation. A reminder that something beyond your senses is watching, arranging, guiding. To write it is to sync yourself to the rhythm of divine instruction. To place it with intention is to declare, I'm tuned in, I'm available, I'm responsive. This isn't for those waiting for another sign. This is for the ones who are the sign, the ones whose bones respond to the language of spirit, who act before understanding, because faith moves faster than reason. What you do now doesn't just speak to heaven, it aligns with it. This is a contract. This is a signal. This is your yes in motion. You're not overlooked. You're concealed for a reason. You've felt the isolation, the delay, the misplacement, not as punishment, but as preservation. You aren't called to walk like the crowd. You are called to move in pattern with divine timing. That's why this moment finds you now. Not because you're ready in the way the world defines it, but because your spirit is finally quiet enough to hear what's been waiting. This instruction, it's not small, it's tailored, and only those with spiritual ears recognize its weight. What you're being asked to do isn't beneath you, it's for you. You've already felt the cost of delay. Now feel the force of alignment. You do not need another confirmation. This is it. The clarity has already arrived. The portal already pulses. Those marked for elevation do not wait for comfort. They move in conviction. And when they move, dimensions respond. You are not here just to hear the message. You are here to become the message in motion. What stands before you now isn't a ritual, it's a response. And what opens next in your life won't be unlocked by how loudly you pray or how deeply you feel. It will be unlocked by whether or not you move. This is where alignment becomes activation. This is where the unseen becomes undeniable. Emotion opens the heart, but obedience unlocks the door. You've cried, you've waited, you've fasted, and the heavens haven't been silent. They've been positioning you. The shift isn't pending, it's paused, waiting on your signal. This isn't delay from above. This is a decision at your level. You're not blocked, you're invited. The alignment that's being asked of you right now isn't guesswork, it's exact, it's encoded. This isn't folklore, it's a transmission of sacred intelligence. You're being handed coordinates for breakthrough, and they lead not to a place, but to your foundation. When you place what's written at your core, you don't just touch paper, you calibrate power. You're not placing a request, you're opening a circuit. And when your structure shifts, your circumstances follow. Not every divine instruction makes sense, and it's not meant to. The ways of spirit will always challenge the logic that keeps you stagnant. When instructions stretch your comfort zone, that's how you know they carry power. Every sacred move in history has begun with something that sounded foolish until it wasn't. It's not about the object, it's about the response. When your action echoes obedience, it triggers momentum in the unseen. You don't need agreement from others. You need alignment with heaven. The body doesn't just hold you up, it holds the frequency of everything you're carrying. The tension, the hope, the delay, and the moment you place your written desire at your center, you're not just making a declaration, you're reprogramming reality. The shifts may not shout at first, but they will whisper, and the whispers are your confirmation. New clarity where confusion was, rest where anxiety sat, direction where you once doubted. Trust the tremble, trust the stillness. Something is beginning. You aren't writing on paper, you're writing on atmosphere. When you inscribe your need, your surrender, and your signal, you're planting what cannot be seen, but what must be honored. Seeds don't scream when they grow, but their roots change everything. You're not journaling, you're engineering. With every stroke, you're setting coordinates for divine acceleration. And where you place it matters. The core of your being, the quiet gate you carry every day, becomes the epicenter of renewal. That act, done in reverence, becomes a current. It pulls the future into now. This isn't about striving, it's about surrender that activates structure. You're not just hoping anymore, you're harmonizing. And when you do, heaven doesn't wait. It responds, even in your sleep, even in stillness. What begins with ink and intention ends with a rewritten outcome. Fear no longer gets to write your story. Limitation no longer calls the shots. You've been handed the coordinates, and now you plant what only the courageous ever dare to release. You are not just living through this moment, you are being summoned by it. What you've carried in silence is now being stirred with divine precision. The instruction you're following may look unusual, but its timing is exact. This isn't random. It's a blueprint unfolding. As you rest with that written truth near your core, don't be surprised if your dreams intensify, your thoughts sharpen, or unfamiliar clarity begins to pour in. That's not your imagination. That's divine recalibration. In the stillness of night, your body becomes a conduit for recalibration. While your conscious mind rests, deeper layers are touched. You may not recall what happens in those hours, but you will feel the shift. Your nervous system loosens. Your spine feels lighter. A sense of calm rises, not from circumstances, but from sacred intervention. What's changing isn't just around you, it's within you. The next version of your story is already being written. Most of your focus has been in the front: goals, problems, survival. But your real battle is in the blind spot. The unseen stronghold sits not in your schedule, but in your structure. It rests behind you, at the foundation that carries your frame. That is where resistance hides. That is where weariness is stored. And that is where healing must begin. The lower part of your body isn't just a place of movement. It's a container of memory. The tension, the fatigue, the stiffness. It's not random. It's residue. But when you place your offering there, you don't just bring attention, you bring authority. You reclaim space that was once targeted. That shift is not symbolic, it's strategic. You aren't just aware of the wound anymore, you are reclaiming the ground beneath it. That central channel running up your back. It's more than a collection of bones and nerves. It's your inner ascent, a sacred staircase designed for spiritual data to move through you. Not up into the sky, but deep through your being. You were not left disconnected. You were built with a link. Every vertebra responds to choice. Every act of trust becomes a step upward. When you follow this call and place your truth at your foundation, you set your feet on the first rung, and each moment of obedience lifts you higher, out of confusion, out of cycles, out of delay. The climb begins inside, not above. There comes a point when you can't think your way through transformation. You have to act. This is that point. Don't analyze it. Move with it. The paper isn't just paper. The act isn't just movement. It's an exchange. What sits between your hips is more than bone. It's archive, a sacred chamber of everything you've endured and everything you've hidden. What you're doing now is more than a petition. It's a declaration. You're drawing a line. You're releasing what was never meant to live in your bones. That tightness you feel, it's not weakness. It's a call for release. What makes this moment powerful isn't the object. It's the invitation. You're not asking for another chance. You're inviting divine force to touch what has never healed. You're not pleading. You're participating. When you place your written truth where your body holds your untold history, you give permission for heaven to go back. Not to erase, but to reconstruct. You're not rewriting your life from scratch. You're letting your Creator resurrect the parts of you that got buried too soon. And when that happens, when the pain that shaped you becomes the place that frees you, you don't just feel different, you become different. The core that once held your silence now holds your rising. You're not just entering a new chapter, you're confronting the locks on your legacy. The action you're called into now is more than symbolic, it's encoded. That paper you place is not just a page, it's a signal. Not to impress the heavens, but to synchronize with them. You're not asking for something random. You're activating something ancient. This is a transaction in spirit, your surrender for His surge. What's been tied up in pain is now being rerouted through power. He's not just focused on where you're going, He's reaching into what's been buried. This isn't about the surface, this is about the sacred core. Where trauma once echoed, transformation now begins. Your history doesn't disqualify you. It becomes the very soil where divine elevation is rooted. What was dormant inside of you isn't missing, it's sealed. Now that seal begins to crack open. This isn't a fresh deposit, it's a long-awaited unlocking. What's been called stuck was simply unactivated. Energy that was meant to move has been held back by fear, memory, and spiritual misalignment. But now, through this act, the circuit completes. You don't create momentum, you release it. The human system was made for flow. When flow is obstructed at the base, everything slows. Your clarity, your courage, your decisions. The paper becomes the access code. You become the conduit, and heaven becomes the current.